Hi, it's Jenny with Jenny's Wreath Boutique, and in this video we're going to be making a summer and fall hydrangea wreath. So I'm going to be using these hydrangeas I've had for a while. They've been at the top of my wall and I love them so much. They're such good quality. I've kind of been hoarding them and not wanting to use them up. They are a little more on the spendy side, but they look so real. Wow. Oh my goodness. If I can find these in stock still, I will link them for you in the description box below. I love them. They look like real hydrangeas that have been dried, but like you don't have that crispy browning factor that you get with actual dried hydrangeas. So that's all I have left. So I'm going to be using a 14-inch grapevine. That's on the smaller side. This is probably more like a 13-inch grapevine. So I hope I have enough hydrangeas to finish this. I haven't cleaned it up yet. Before I get started, I just took this off the wall and you'll see there's an S hook in the wall. I just slide it into the slats. So many of you have asked how I add these buckets to my wall. I have a whole video I do show you in a part of that video of my wreath room makeover. I will link that in the description box. So I just take this, it's on the wall, and I take this handle and I just hang it up there. Oh, can you see that? That's all I do. There's nothing special about these baskets. They are from Michael's, so I haven't seen as many baskets from Michael's, but that's all I do. So I just took this off. It's been hanging around. I've been kind of hoarding them because they're so pretty, so I'm finally going to be using them. Okay, let's get started. First, I'm going to clean up my grapevine. These are all in bunches, and I'm just going to clip these because I don't need it to be I don't need the stems to be very long. So I'm just going to cut all of them. And notice when they're separated, they're definitely not as beefy. So it almost takes 3 just to look like one real hydrangea head. Before I even start, just by looking at this, I'm worried it's not going to be enough hydrangeas to fill this wreath. So I'm just going to stick them in really quick. If you have a limited amount of supplies, I would recommend doing this just to see if it's big enough. No, it's not. I'm going to go grab a smaller wreath. All right, I just grabbed one of my 10-inch wreaths. I think this is going to work better. A little bit smaller because I want this wreath to be really fluffy and full. I always have 18, 14, 10, and 6-inch wreaths on hand. And some of my 14-inch wreaths are a little smaller, so they're actually like 12 or 13 inches, like the one I showed you before. So I also have that size on hand too, so I can make different sizes. Okay, so it looks like we're going to be using this wreath instead. And I am just going to start by gluing the stems in. Add a little bit of glue. But we have to cover the most important part first, which is the top. So I'm just gluing these in and sticking them into the grapevine. And this is a little bit more of an airy grapevine than the last one, so I am holding this down a little bit so it stays. So this one has this piece in a weird spot, so I'm going to pull it off, and it has a nice thing, and I'm just going to move where the nub is placed. So there's lots of little spots, and I'm just going to move it closer to the center. And then you see how we have a little extra piece right there. I'm going to take one of our flower petals and just stick it on there. I'm going to add a tiny, tiny dab of glue. Oops. Poke it through. And that is not going anywhere. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, since I did run out, and this part is a little thicker, I had to switch up my technique about here. So I'm going to take a little bit out of here and move it here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some out of this side here, and I'm going to move, just going to move a few things around, totally fine. So what I'm doing is I'm taking these apart and I'm going to fill in a lot more evenly. This is why I save my stems from my tulips in the spring. I have a whole box full of these. They make great picks that are free. I mean, you've already used the tulips, so I consider this free. I normally would have just thrown it away. So I'm just taking these, and then I add a little bit of glue because there's a little hole right there. And I'm adding the glue to the end and I have a nice pick. Isn't that perfect? So I'm going to do that to the rest of these. One of the hardest things to do with these wreaths is make sure it's nice and round and even. A lot of times our grapevines aren't even, and this is just something that we need to do. So if you have the same situation I do where you finish your wreath but it's not even or you don't have enough product, I hope this helps you for how to even it out. We can also fluff these up a little bit too, because some of them are a little squished. And as I'm fluffing, if I see any little nubs that need a flower, oops, that one fell off, I'm going to glue them back on. So now I'm going to fill in the gaps with these picks. And after I'm done with that, we'll see where we're at, and we might need to do some more tweaking. But first things first. So I'm sticking these along the grapevine and then I'm bending it up toward the front so we have good contact with the grapevine. So it looks a little thick over here still. So what I'm going to do is pull some of these off and just move them around a little bit. I don't want to pull so many off that you can see a difference, but I think one needs to go right here. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. The nice thing about faux is that it fluffs really well, so you can always adjust things. If these are real dried hydrangeas, I would not be able to do all of this. All right, here it is, our cute little hydrangea wreath. This would be so cute with like a big candle in the middle. So this would be cute. Here's my jute twine. This would be cute like around a candle. Isn't that pretty? Or just wherever, but I love it. It's so cute, and I was able to use up the last of my hydrangeas, and I'm so glad I did the 10-inch. I think it looks so pretty. Look at those details. I just love it so much. All right, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that yet. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!